In this episode, I shall present you nuggets of information from scriptures discovered by spiritual teachers, answers presented by them to existential crises and purpose of life from their lived and living experiences. Why do people participate in Rath Yatra? What do they discover? What is salvation and self-realization, among others? We are on a journey of self-discovery through the discoveries of other spiritual beings who are unlike commercialized motivational speakers. The voices here are pure and pristine. Let us begin. Rath Yatra has reached Sweden and Europe. Because Sweden, like the rest of the countries in the European Union, are tolerant of different voices of expression in the public sphere. Sweden delicately balances between a commitment to globalization and maintains its identity. With a high quality of life, strong infrastructure, the best healthcare and education, surveys repeatedly vote Sweden as the best country in the world where democratic socialism flourishes and the Swedish people are tolerant on the planet to the other people. That is why so many voices, social, political, and religious, find expression in the public space once they are informed to the local law enforcing authorities. Sweden allows space to express oneself for a cause or an ism or a belief, whether it agrees with it or not. Some of them may be acceptable or unacceptable to some, but others must accept what is unacceptable to them. The voices and expressions in the public sphere are varied and diverse. Musicians can sing their hearts out, expressing the deepest emotions of humanity. Hinduism is the major religion and a deeply rooted tradition of practices of secular India and among the diaspora. This syncretic and ancient faith centers around dharma, which is righteous conduct in thought, speech, and action. Dharma guides individuals, societies, and even nations. Hinduism is not just a religion, it is a vast ecosystem of philosophy, rituals, social customs, mystical practices, ascetic paths, and belief systems. It includes faith in reincarnation, karma, deity worship, and the varna or caste system. Though it is also a philosophy with various branches. Tapas, a Norwegian who had made Sweden his home country and inspired many towards Bhakti Yoga through iskcon, found answers for life's issues, and he shared how he discovered the faith. He had recently passed away, back to Godhead, to whom this broadcast is also dedicated.
Tapas Prabhu, how did you start your journey into iskcon and Hinduism?
I was from Norway, on the west coast of Norway, in a smaller village near Bergen. Father was a businessman, and I had a very nice environment to grow up in, a village, and joint family, big family, 40, 50 close relatives. I did well. My father was quite wealthy, but I came to an existential crisis and the high school, and closing to 20, and I started to search. I thought I couldn't find a meaning of life. That life is just getting problems, solving problems, but what ultimately it ends up in. So I started to search, and I also studied philosophy in university, and I speak with people, I read books, and we discuss, and eventually I also get in contact with, there was no iskcon in Norway at that time. This was 1979. So I meet one person there in Bergen who has Prabhupada's book, Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada's Gitas were already in the city there for long, but no movement. So I met devotees in London, 79, 80, 81 in the summer. Every year I met devotees. And in 81 I visited the first temple in Soho Street and in Bhaktivedanta Manor also. And then I got contact with some devotee and I was exchanging letters. Later that year, first temple started. iskcon in my city, Bergen. I started to go there. So then when that was just for a short time, and then they closed it down and they moved to Sweden. So I then left everything and moved to the ashram. I became brahmachari in Sweden for 1 year. Then I moved back to Norway and started to build up the movement there in 1982. And I was there in Norway as a brahmachari, traveling until 95. Then I moved to Sweden and I got married in 97, and since 99 then there was kind of crisis because Harikes, the main GVC and Diksha Guru, Harikes Prabhu, he left his service in 1998. And in that crisis situation I took responsibility for preaching center in the Stockholm. And I was there now for 20.
So how in Sweden, in Norway, Finland and Denmark, in Nordic countries, the importance of religion or worshipping God or appreciating God is almost gone. So
yeah, but there's a difference. There's a big difference from Sweden and Norway.
what is that trouble?
Sweden has it's like the culture is post-communistic, atheistic value system. Norway people are much more religious, much more pious. Finland also. But the Swedes were pious, but that was in the beginning until 1960. Then they became very suddenly completely secular, but actually it meant atheistic in their value system. And that it didn't benefit from that. Sweden has been the greatest anti-cult movement has been in Sweden. There was not much anti-cult in Finland and Norway in the 80s, 90s. And they have had some difficulties to treat, more than other Nordic countries, treat religious minorities well. So, Harikes, he said that if you preach in Sweden, you get special mercy because the environment is hostile to. It's more like the passive hostility. It's not that you understand, it's not suppressing openly, but it's there, it's not welcoming it. You understand, we have difficulty to find locality for temple in Stockholm because people don't want to rent out Hare Krishna because they are, so this is, but still, Ratiatra has invested a lot here. Because actually when the Swedes were Christian, they were very Christian. Swedes are people who do things very together like a flock. And if the leadership is religious, they will be religious. If the leadership, Finns and Norwegians are much more individualistic. So it's fact, the faith has, but that is not necessarily okay. They are very comfortable materially speaking, and then it's easy to put the religion aside. You see, they are also quite nicely managed. There's not so much corruption as in many other places. It's nice nature, it's nice air, not too many people. So it's easy to feel kind of self-satisfied and comfortable up here. But it's not necessarily, for Krishna consciousness, it's not necessarily bad that people are, let's say, not active in the traditional religion, because sometimes the traditional religion is also an obstacle to serious spiritual life, because people feel comfortable in their traditional religion also, but they're not moving so much. It's just a tradition. It's like a spice in life. It's not the meaning of life. You understand?
So how are you able to take the message of Hinduism in Sweden?
We do our little part. We have our temples. We invite people. We are doing a lot of school programs. So we study visits from school classes, university students. That is done different places here also, and also one devotee is traveling around to schools and like that. And prasadam distribution has been going on here, Stockholm, Lund, Malmö, different places. And we go to Harinams. So we are there and people are aware of us. Distributing books also. You know, the thing is we have to think in long term that we are contributing with Bhakti Sukriti, putting up little Krishna here and there. And it will eventually, and it already has effect, but it will have more and more effect because now many more people, for example, believe in the soul than they did 30 or 50 years ago. Karma is now a common concept. These are things we have been preaching about. They don't take us exactly, but they take part of the. And this is the beginning of spirituality in Bhagavad Gita, is to learn about the soul and the body. That's how it starts.
Thank you, Tapas Prabhu. You said that, you struggled at one point of time to come out of existential crisis.
Yeah.
How did you come out, and did Hinduism or iskcon movement or Bhagavad Gita help you?
When you are in such situation where you are really searching. So I came upon these books and also the mantra, Hare Krishna mantra. And, when you're in such a situation, you're open to try out things also. And I did that. And I also, by Krishna's arrangement, I met devotees in London. Every year I was there. I met devotees in Copenhagen. I met devotees in different places. And they came into my life. And I started to read Bhagavad Gita. And I'm also background in philosophy. So it really caught me. And same time I was open to practice something else. Then I saw that life is, the fate was coming up, that the life is getting changed. Because it's not blind faith. You can see that life is getting changed. I meet devotees and they're nice people and so on and so on. And it just increased and increased. And it's like coming home. I told my mother, you have a son who made his life perfect. So your life is perfect in regards to me. She's 92 now. And it's like returning home. It's like this feeling of, there is no existential crisis any longer. Existential crisis, by the way, is not bad. It makes you wake up. It makes you take life seriously.
Thank you very much, Tapas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Caste system. Though it might appear simple, Hinduism is profoundly complex. Each practice, deity, or ritual often varies by region, language, and local tradition. Broadly speaking, Hinduism has two primary devotional streams: Vaishnavism, the worship of Vishnu, and Shaivism, the worship of Shiva. Many Hindus, however, practice a more inclusive devotion, worshipping multiple deities. Together, Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma form the Trimurti or Holy Trinity as the preserver, destroyer, and creator, respectively. Whenever the cosmic balance is threatened by evil, Vishnu is believed to descend in one of his 10 avatars to restore dharma. Few of the avatars are anthropomorphic forms, that is, human-animal forms. 10 avatars of Vishnu are Matsya, the fish; Kurma, the tortoise; Varaha, the boar; Narasimha, the man-lion; Vamana, the dwarf; Parshurama, the warrior sage; Rama, the perfect king; Krishna, the divine lover and philosopher and diplomat; Balarama, Krishna's elder brother and a Buddha; Kalki, the warrior yet to come.
The
For
spiritual
Rath Yatra,
teachers also talk about self-awareness to live a fulfilling and joyful life. They extract nuggets of wisdom from scriptures. Bhakti Swarupa Chaitanya Swami, who visited Govindas, the restaurant and temple in Gothenburg on a 2-day visit to Sweden from Lithuania at the invitation of iskcon devotees Roberta and Wilma, spoke about kama, krodha and lobha, translatable as lust, anger and greed. He said those three strong emotions could be controlled by practicing bhakti yoga. He emphasized the importance of reading scriptures whose words can purify the minds.
All mundane talk is more or less kama krodha lobha. You know, mundane talk is just kama krodha lobha, is just lust and anger and greed. Profit, yes, competition and profit. That means greed. More. I want to have more. And I can insure myself against the will of the Lord. Whatever happens in my life, insurance is covered. Everything is covered by insurance. I don't know. I'm not scared about anything. Insurance will pay me back. My car will be stolen or broken, insurance will do. This greed and more brings to krodha, anger. Never enough. Never enough. This is the mind works under this. Never enough. Doesn't matter how much. It always says, "Anyor, more." So that brings anger. Why? Because you can't have everything. The mind wants to have everything and more. But you can't have even everything. What to speak about more?
For Rath Yatra, the 8th and 9th avatars, Krishna and Balarama, are especially significant. Krishna is one of the most loved deities in Hinduism. In the Bhagavad Gita, a sacred scripture, Krishna imparts spiritual wisdom to the warrior Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Krishna is worshipped in many forms as a mischievous child, a cosmic lover, and a divine guide. Balarama, Krishna's brother and the 9th avatar, appears alongside Krishna in the Rath Yatra. The chariots in Rath Yatra carry the deities Jagannath, Balabhadra, and their sister Subhadra. The invitation to this year's Rath Yatra includes a powerful quote from Srila Prabhupada, founder of iskcon, from a lecture given in San Francisco in 1970. Quote, "If anyone sees on the cart Jagannath, Subhadra and Baladeva, then he does not take birth again in this material world." Unquote. What does that mean? Is the goal of human life is not to be born again? In Hindu philosophy, life is an opportunity to transcend the cycle of birth and death and reach a higher state of being. This cycle, called samsara, is symbolized in many cultures, like the Ouroboros in ancient Greece, a serpent eating its own tail, symbolizing rebirth and eternity. In Indian tradition, the purpose of life is expressed through the Purusharthas, the four aims of human life. 1. Dharma, or moral responsibility. 2. Artha, which means prosperity. 3. Kama, which means desire and pleasure. 4th, Moksha, which means liberation or salvation. Among these, moksha is the highest. It is self-realization, freedom from earthly bondage by recognizing the divine within oneself and in others. Moksha is achieved through the practice of dharma, pursuit of artha, and enjoyment of kama with balance and mindfulness. Dharma, or righteous conduct, holds a central role. It is not merely moral but spiritual, ethical, and cosmic. It demands that each individual fulfill their desires to themselves, their ancestors, society, and the universe. Hinduism is not a proselytizing religion. There is no evangelism. One is either born into it or chooses to explore and embrace it.
Taji, you are a Swedish and you practice Hinduism by living in Sweden. How is it possible?
I would say Prabhupada, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, he's saying we're actually not Christian or Hindu or Muslim. We're actually eternal spirit soul. So all our cultures, all our religions, they are actually aiming for that same service and love to God. Only I find that when we read the Bhagavad Gita, when we read the Srimad Bhagavatam, we get to know this God more as a person. We get closer to him. We get to see him because the principles are the same. The bhakti principle is definitely there within Christianity. And I was, at a very young age, I was maybe around 18 years old, a very strong realization hit me that what I do now, this will indicate the rest of my life. But I didn't know what I wanted. So I started to look around, to ask around, to look at people. And then I became a little disappointed because it was very difficult to find somebody who really know the meaning of life. And then at that time I lived here in Gothenburg, and I was fortunate to kind of come across the Devotees had a center here at that time. I came for a Sunday feast program and they engaged me. They gave me service to Krishna and they gave me the opportunity to meditate on Krishna's name. So I would say that following the Vedas, following the Bhagavad Gita, you can call it Hinduism. You also don't have to call it Hinduism because the religions, it's somehow spiritual life connected to your culture. But spiritual life is the nature of the soul. By nature, we are spirit souls, and by nature, we have a relationship to Krishna, to God, but we have forgotten it. So in this world, that's actually, as human beings, that's our greatest opportunity. And as all the religions, that is the offering to again wake up that sense of relationship to God. And I find the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita, the practice of Vaishnavism, of Bhakti Yoga, that for me is the most practical and the most potent that I have come across. Therefore, I'm very grateful that I'm able to practice this Krishna consciousness.
Mataji, how did this journey begin?
I just realized that I didn't know what was the meaning of life. And then I was not able to just go on with the daily business. I think I became quite insufferable. I would walk up to people and say, what's the meaning of your life? But then when I came across the devotees who were practicing Krishna consciousness according to the Bhagavad Gita, according to the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, I didn't make a decision, now I want to be like them, but I gave it a chance. I tried out I came to the temple, I assisted with, cleaning, doing some services. I tested out the meditation, the chanting of the mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And after a while, the days became weeks and the weeks became months, and I realized I feel very home at the hair with doing this. And so I have continued.
What is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life, just reading from a dialogue between Sanatan Goswami and Lord Chaitanya. And Sanatan Goswami, he asked this question, Ke ami? Who am I? If you don't know who you are, then that's something that is worth to look into. So that I could say that realizing who you are, but actually realizing who you are also means realizing your relationship to God. So that's actually the meaning of life.
Because many people say they go back to their identity. It could be a region, language, culture, or whatever, classifications.
Yes. And also, of course, being connected to the Vedas, we also know that the soul is eternal. And when we die in this body, we take birth again. So some people will not be at the point where this is very interesting. And then, of course, being born in Sweden is perfect for them. But even here, it is always available. It is always available. Sometimes you think like that. What about the people who live in somewhere where the culture is not available? But actually, Krishna, in the form of Super Soul, Paramatma, is situated in everyone's heart. And when that desire again wakes up in the heart, then Krishna says, okay, come over here, meet with this person. Everybody gets that. It's almost mystical. They get the opportunity to start to practice. But of course, we who have gotten this gift already, we also want very much to give it further. If somebody is interested, then we can give them also Bhagavad Gita, we can give them Krishna's name, and we can hand over the process that we have been given, which is a very practical process and a very powerful process.
Mataji, what pleasure or what happiness you get by doing what you do as a devotee of Krishna?
But sometimes just hearing about Krishna together with the devotees and getting to know him more and more creates a very deep happiness in the heart. But even, how to say, on a bad day, it's a little bit like standing on a platform of realism. This spiritual reality is actually there. It creates a very peaceful, safe situation in life. So sometimes I'm able to hook on to the higher level of appreciating Krishna more and more, but always I'm able to feel very safe that I have a very good direction in life.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, you know about Sweden. It is one of the most advanced and developed countries in the world in terms of human development index and everything. But it seems that, the number of people who are religious have come down drastically. Even if they go to church, it's once in either for a funeral or for a ceremony.
Yeah.
That's it. The country has become more irreligious. Why is that? Is it because the country has developed? Is it because you don't need for the God?
It's difficult to say, of course, why, but they have done some surveys, and they find out in Sweden people have an extremely low level of organized religion. But when they make the surveys, they don't say that they are atheists, they are non-believers. They believe in something, but they don't identify with the churches. And I think sometimes maybe the presentation of religion has been on a level for a different culture, and now we have a culture where we are maybe more intelligent, more able to think ourselves. And then the presentation of religion hasn't been catching up with that. Because, you read Bhagavad Gita, it's not that God says this and therefore you have to believe it. No, Arjuna has many questions. He says, you say this, but I don't quite understand it. It's a dialogue. You're actually encouraged to use your intelligence to bring up your doubts. So I don't actually know. Actually, ultimately, it's like this. As a spirit soul, you go where your desire takes you. And this material world is a place where we go when we don't want to see God as the center of everything. And here we can forget him. And maybe in Sweden we can forget him a little more, but these are just the nuances, really.
Thank you, Mata.
Rath Yatras are celebrated throughout India and across the world among Indian diaspora. The word Rath Yatra comes from Sanskrit. Ratha, which means chariot, Yatra means pilgrimage. Rath Yatra is a vibrant public festival, often compared to Brahmotsavam in Tirupati.
Well, the significance of Rath Yatra is a lot. I can say that to share the Lord Jagannath mercy with everyone beyond boundaries. It promotes culture and spiritual unity. Moreover, it also brings joy, peace and devotion to all the participants. We celebrate.
The deities are brought out of temples and taken out through the streets, accompanied by music, chants, and thousands of devotees in attendance. In this once-a-year opportunity in Sweden, the faithful gather to chant Jai Jagannath as they pull the chariot through the public square. The most
Rath Yatra is a special occasion because that's the only time when Lord Jagannath actually comes out of the temple and is giving his blessings, his darshan to all the other people on the streets. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being the most merciful form, we don't differentiate between which color, which caste, which region, which language, which accent they speak. He is distributing the mercy in the form of the Hare Krishna mantra to each and everybody, to each individual who is on the street, who is in the hotel, who is in the street. We're going out giving prasadam, giving the holy name. So this is like a very big festival because we are distributing the holy name free to all of the people here.
Arun, don't you think any resistance or uneasiness in bringing out Lord Jagannath to the streets of Europe? You bring Hinduism to Western countries. How do you feel about it?
I guess if we go deeper into the philosophy, there's no word called Hindu. The only word which exists in the Vedas is Sanatan Dharma. This differentiation of skin color, what accent we speak, this is Hindu god, this is Muslim god, all these things don't exist because ultimately all of us, we are looking for the Supreme One. We call it Allah, somebody calls it as God, we call him Krishna, and we call him Jagannath, Lord of the universe. So if people can come to this realization that this is not a Hindu god, this is the old supreme one, and the names might be different. Just like the sun, here in India it's called Surya, in England it's called sun. Here in Sweden it might have a different name, but the property of the sun doesn't change. The heat and the light of the sun doesn't change. Similarly, we are bringing the same supreme personality of Godhead here, and we are calling him by the name Jagannath, and everybody is free to come and chant his glories.
What makes you to be part of iskcon and Rath Yatra, Arun Prabhu?
I guess after I was living a normal life and using material success is all that is there, but once I joined iskcon or once I came to the movement, I realized there's so much to explore in life. There's so many people to meet, there's so many places to visit, and there's so much we can do for the society, for the people in general. So it's giving me a medium to actually travel all over the world and distribute happiness, distribute love to people. I think that's the most special thing about iskcon.
The most famous Rath Yatra is held in Puri, Odisha, in India. Here, massive wooden chariots in the unique Duela style carry the deities of Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra along with the Sudarshana Chakra.
This is a very ancient festival. It is, from the time immemorial, it is being celebrated, and mostly it is very famous in Puri, Odisha, where millions of devotees come, and from our founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, he started in the Western countries, and fortunately today is the day. In 1967 he started the first Rath Yatra in San Francisco, and from then onwards we are celebrating all the devotees, like the devotees who are here. They are from London and they go to many of the countries, and they we have this festival celebrated. So day of yesterday or before that, it was in Copenhagen, then in Malmo, and today it is in Gothenburg. So it's a very nice festival. All the devotees, they will chant together, dance, sing, and then have nice prasadam of Lord Jagannath.
Since how long you have been part of Rath Yatra?
Oh, I first went to Rath Yatra in 1973 in London, where I saw the spiritual master of the Hare Krishna movement dancing with joy amongst his disciples. We were all dancing and chanting in front of this cart as it went through the streets of London. And the newspaper said that Nelson's column, which is a really high statue in London, that this cart had outshadowed Nelson's column.
The Sudarshana Chakra. The ideals of Jagannath, Subhadra and Balabhadra are distinct, crafted from wood with oversized heads and no visible arms. Their form is rooted in legend. It is said that King Idrayumma, eager to house Krishna's spirit, commissioned divine idols. When the divine sculptor Vishwakarma began work, he asked not to be disturbed. The king, being impatient, opened the door early. The idols were unfinished, but sacred nonetheless, and Vishwakarma had disappeared. The unfinished idols remains so to this day. These idols symbolize mystery, devotion, and the unknowable divine. It is believed one who witnesses the Rath Yatra will not be born again. Rathotsam Keshavam Drishtva Punarjanma Na Vidyate. The belief attached to Rath Yatra is participating in it or witnessing it is a promise of liberation and a celebration of the divine. This Rath Yatra in Gothenburg in Sweden is a witness to that ancient tradition. It is to celebrate harmony, devotion, and the eternal journey of the soul.
What makes you to be part of Rath Yatra?
Hare Krishna. It's Krishna mercy to be here, and I joined the team of Rath Yatra to enjoy great day festival of Lord Jagannath.
What makes you to be part of this?
Compassion to people. I came here to show compassion to locals and introduce them to our great idea of worship of Lord Jagannath.
How are the people taking it here?
They're really friendly. They show interest and they're asking lots of questions. That's why I bring Prabhupada books like Science of Self-Realization and Sri Ishopanishads. All these books was translated by Srila Prabhupada.
What is the significance of Rath Yatra, Prabhu?
So Rath Yatra is festival of chariots. We celebrate Master of Universe, Lord Jagannath.
How do you feel to be part of it, Bhim Das ji?
Feeling great. Feeling great and open-minded.
When you say it's compassion, what do you mean by it, Bhim Das ji?
Compassion is helping people. Compassion is showing people mercy and showing them glory of Lord Jagannath.
Prabhu, what makes you to be part of Rath Yatra?
My commitment to service of Lord Jagannath. We start from Copenhagen, Malmo, and today Göteborg. Great weather.
How did you discover Lord Jagannath's Rath Yatra or the festival?
Through the Shastras. After studying many years Vedas and Srimad Bhagavatam, I discovered Lord Jagannath and the worshipping of Master of Universe.
What is the best feeling that you get when you participate in Rath Yatra, Prabhu?
Feeling of self-realization.
What is self-realization, Prabhu?
Understanding of your purpose in life.
In a world we live in, the purpose could be to have enough financial resources or to have something. Is it something different, Prabhu?
For us in this age of Kali, our purpose in life should be devotional service through Kirtan, Rath Yatras, and food for all, following orders of Srila Prabhupada.
But by doing these things, we can't make a livelihood or make a living, Prabhu.
That's not true. We can make that. It's just cooperation between devotees, easily through book distribution, through even simple conversation with member of society. We can make living. It's just cooperation.
The size, pomp, and splendor of the Rath Yatra, the procession, has even contributed a word to the English dictionary, juggernaut. The etymology of the word juggernaut in the English language, in fact, is attributed to Sanskrit, Ratiatra, and Lord Jagannath. Jagannath or Jagannatha is a portmanteau of Jagat and Natha or Nada, meaning the Lord of the world. Juggernaut refers to an irresistible force, an unstoppable force, blind devotion, and to a huge, powerful, and overwhelming force. Jagannatha is an incarnation of the god Vishnu, whose ideal, it is said, so excited his worshippers when it was hauled along on a large car during religious rites that they threw themselves under the wheels with blind devotion to be crushed.
Rath Yatra is a big Hindu festival where everyone joins and have a great time and share happiness with everyone. I wish you a great Rath Yatra festival. Hare Krishna!
In 2025, Rath Yatra began at the spot where King Gustav Adolf announced to the world, here a city will be built in 1623. From here, the Rath Yatra steered into the heart of the city. In Gothenburg, the quadricentennial city, Bhakta Anton came from Denmark to participate in the Rath Yatra in Sweden. To him, it is the most important and joyous festival in a year, and he says anyone can participate. He also shared his views why Ratiatra festivals are allowed in Europe.
We are gathering now to celebrate Lord Jagannath, and it's one of the most joyous festivals of the year for Vaishnavas.
So when you say Vaishnavas, do you include everybody in Hinduism or just Vaishnavas?
Yes, in one sense, all the different gods which are worshipped in Hinduism are manifestations of Vishnu, which is also Krishna. So whenever I say Vaishnavism, it includes all who consider themselves as Hindus.
What is the spiritual significance of such things in Sweden? Because many people are not attracted to such things. How do you get attracted, Anton?
I believe that we are all souls and we are all searching for the highest truth. And for me, I came to at least the most ancient truth, which is conceptualized through the Vedas, the ancient texts of Hinduism.
What is it, Prabhu? What did you conceptualize? What made you to get into this movement?
Well, I think first of all, it was very attractive from the outside, like the very colorful dresses of the ladies and the men as well. And there was a good food, there was a good music. And then later, when I dived into philosophy, it gave a lot of sense. It answered a lot of my questions.
How is the situation in Sweden to practice such things? Because so many things happen, like people fighting for the rights of LGBTQ, same rights, women rights. How do you place such movements in Sweden?
We feel ourselves a very all-inclusive movement. We try to see everyone as spirit souls. That all these external designations they are temporary, and we try to empathize the souls. But speaking of this about different movements, the policeman over here just came to us and said that he's here to check up that there will be no violence. And for me, this is a very, very peaceful religion, and we usually steer away from violence.
So you want to have such movements to flourish in Sweden along with several other.
Yes, definitely. We don't believe that this is secluded or occupied for any kind of ethnicity. We believe that this is eternal religion. It's eternal spiritual path for all beings.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Varuna Das came from Lund, the educational city in Sweden. For him, participating in the festival is to please the Lord Jagannath.
Celebrate here.
So it's a Vedic traditional chariot festival of Lord Jagannath, which has been coming all the way from Jagannath Puri. So Jagannath is so merciful, and he's coming all the way to Sweden, and we have been doing this Rath Yatra for many years as a tradition, which kind of uplifts our spiritual upliftment, and also it gives us so much mercy and blessings of Lord Jagannath.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Apart from that, in a developed country like Sweden, how does it help for someone's pleasure or well-being?
So this is actually for pleasing Lord Jagannath. So by pleasing Lord Jagannath, everyone gets pleased. It is a saying that in a Vedic context. So that way we are actually trying to please Lord Jagannath, and that way everyone is getting pleased by getting the mercy in the form of prasad, by taking his darshan and doing the service of Lord Jagannath.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Bhakta Lakshman arrived from Stockholm and is currently a celibate. He decided to be in the celibate mode of life at young age to focus on life and aspire for higher values, sublime and spiritual.
This time as living as celibates, brahmacharis, for spiritual advancement, for studying.
So how does it help you by being, people of your age has girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever? So what do you want to achieve by being a celibate?
So the reason why celibate is, some can call it even a necessity, is that we need to have focus and we need training. Many times we enter things and we are not prepared. So brahmacharya is a preparation for entering the grihastha ashram.
So now what do you want to achieve by being a celibate?
I want to develop a good character and become the best version of myself. And yes.
So what is your opinion about Hare Krishna movement in Sweden? How is the response?
Hare Krishna movement in Sweden is having a good response, I would say. We are fortunately in Sweden. It's a very free country, one could say. So the possibilities to spread Krishna consciousness are very many, and when we actually go every Saturday in Stockholm, we go and sing Harinam in the streets, and there's a very positive response of the people. They generally join in and dance and sing, and a very happy approach and response.
So do you think being in a religious bent of mind, it helps you to build your character?
Yes, definitely. Because it's possible to have higher values, not just based on some material sentiments, but something really, really sublime.
Former professor Dr. Nripanka Saikia from Cotton University in Assam in northeastern India was determined to participate in the 24th Rath Yatra organized by iskcon temple in Gothenburg. He praised the police who had ensured even the traffic of passenger cars and public transport stopped for Rath Yatra. He explained why the Rath Yatra has a universal appeal and why Lord Jagannath is the universal Lord.
Oh, wonderful question. Yeah. Actually, see, he is the one of the, should say, the single deity or the Lord who is not the Lord of Hindus, he is not Lord of Christian, he is not Lord of Muslim, neither he is not of any sect or religion. His name is Jagannath. And Jagannath meaning is Jagat means universe, Nath means he is the Lord. He is the Lord of the universe. So he is always accepted by all the religions, all the people from all religion, every corners of the world. And it is because of iskcon. And because we are not going to convert some people to certain sect to other sect. That is something like we are all brothers and sisters, and our Father is the Supreme Father God, and under Him we are enjoying our welfareness and everything in the society. So this is not a rally, or this is not a procession made by some particular sect of people. It is for harmony, it is for peace, it is for cooperation, and it is for all welfare of the human society. I have seen that the police people are taking lots of care. It is not because of that some procession is going on by certain part of people or certain type of people, because it is their duty to look after so that everything goes very nicely. It is not that they are stopping the procession, rather they are helping the procession to move forward in a very systematic way. And I have observed that in addition to the police, the organizers here, they engage some people so to look after the traffic flow and to look after the pilgrims flow, and so that the main road is no way disturbed. So police people, I talk with some police people also, they say we are very happy because your people are looking after themselves very nicely. And on the top, police people are really, really very helpful to us, and they show us the path, they make everything, the path ready for the show. Yeah. This Jagannath Rath Yatra, as I am telling you, it is started from which time we do not know. It is time, immemorial time. So it is said that Kali Yoga. And in Kali Yoga, in this millennium, it is said that that the whole world is looked after by the God, all the living entity, what to speak of the human society, what to speak of the animals, what to speak of the trees, and every entity, everybody is looked after by the God in the form of Jagannath. So this way, Jagannath is not Hindu Lord. He also said, as you know, in India, actually it happened yesterday. So everywhere we have seen, even in Puri also, it is not taken part, it was not taken part only by Hindu people, it is taken from all people from all corners of the globe. So it is very, very, we can say, a universal festival where everybody can join, and Jagannath does not demand from what background people is coming, with what a food habit they are coming, with what religion they are coming. He is extending his hands and try to say, yo, I am coming to embrace you. Please, please come to me. I would like to hug you. So that is Jagannath. Jai Jagannath.
Prasadam was distributed to more than 1,000 devotees made by Ishtvan Prabhu, the Hungarian in Sweden, and his wife Arundhati Mataji, and with the help of other members of iskcon in
Sean
Goa.
Prabhu, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
For Rath Yatra, even Indra, the Lord of Rains, ensured the Scandinavian sky did not rain, but only the sun shined as the day progressed for the Rath Yatra. Rath Yatra became a multicultural event with singing and dancing and distribution of prasadam. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those in between, I thank you for being here.